Hey everyone, welcome, welcome to the Remarkable Orator. I'm your host, Anika Apple, and I have a fantastic guest. I'm so excited about having with me today. And he really needs no introduction, but I'm going to have him do the honors. But I bring to you my longtime friend, Randy Ritchwood, the man in motion. Randy,
Hey,
welcome.
hey. I like that. Randy Ritchwood, the man in
The
motion.
man in motion.
Thank you for having me. Hi.
Hi, so glad that you could make it. Thank you for creating some time in your busy schedule to come on and share your remarkable story with us.
Oh, for sure, man. Anything for you, young lady.
Uh,
Anything for you.
so appreciate that. So, Randy Richwood, I know that people typically call you Wood, so hopefully that's okay.
That's fine.
So Wood, let's get right into it. You have a remarkable story. There's no question about that. I'd love for you to just tell our listeners a little bit about who you are, and then we can just get in. You know, I'm going to be all over you, just all over, asking all sorts of stuff. I know lots and lots of details. So tell our listeners a little bit about who you are.
Well, Randy Richwood, born and raised out of East Orange, New Jersey. Man, man, author, actor, business owner, father, and just all around blue collar man trying to make things happen and you know move forward with life and beautiful transition, beautiful transitions, you know, and not afraid to walk through them fires and them flames, to get to where we need to go.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. I
Yeah.
also heard, maybe this is not true, but I heard through the grapevine that you are an aspiring real estate mogul. Is that right?
And well, and yeah, inspiring real estate mogul. Yeah, I take the inspiring. I got into the real estate business with a friend, and they put me in the right direction. And once they put me in the right direction, and the numbers was correct, and they told me from A to Z what I need to do, from the credit scores to the keeping things in order. I had an opportunity. Instead of getting a one family first, I'm into business, so I went and got a three family. And from the three family, I bought it, and I was blessed to go ahead and have some handyman skills and clean up the things that I wanted to clean up and take care of importance. And then once that I started seeing the revenue that comes in after every 30 days, it was like, you know what? I started getting the scratch and starting to get the bug and getting that little itch to make me more interested into the real estate business, and so we just took it from there. So
Excellent.
now we working on a second 3 unit home with three beautiful families, three families, 3 bedrooms, each floor. No, first and second floor, and then a 1 bedroom on the third floor.
That's
And
awesome.
each one bring in like $1,700 a month, and then the third floor with the one family brings in like $1,100. So it's not bad at all.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, good luck with your continued real
Yeah,
estate ventures.
thank
So
you.
let's get into your story. You know, the whole premise of the Remarkable Orator is about how healing happens when we share stories because, we've all been through things. You call them transitions. I heard you say that a moment ago. And people just need to understand how to make it through, how to navigate through things. And I think you have such an interesting story. I would say you have a lot of layers. And so let's peel back some of the layers.
All right, let's pull them back. Go on,
That
go
was
on.
like that laugh. Like it's good that they can't see us on Zoom because that laugh was like very sinister, right? I know the listeners are like, what's behind that? He really does have a lot of layers. You heard his list of all the things that he's done, right? So there's a lot there. So what's at the heart of who you are?
Man, the heart of who I am is just being a father, man. That's the most beautiful thing that God has really blessed me with. having a father figure and then, starting out as a young man and raising my own and just stepping up to the plate, man. It's just the most beautiful thing to see something that you brought into this world and to nurture it, to love it, to care, and to take on that responsibility and just to see them grow from the time they came out of mama womb and go through, you know, daycare, then uh, after school programs, and then elementary and high school and then college, and just to be there, and making sure as a father that you do your part and you play your part, and it keeps you busy, it keeps you occupied, man. If you are hands on, and it's a beautiful thing because the blessing behind it, it comes with so many blessings that a lot of men won't ever see or recognize, due to the fact of like just being a father is awesome, and I'm just past that. I'm always gonna be a father, but I'm at that stage now to where these are young men and young women and they're on their own. But at the end of the day, I'm finally able to have some of my life that whatever I was missing while raising them and me still being young at heart, I'm able to chase my dreams and goals now. And they support me 100%, you know?
That's awesome. And when you talk about the fact that, they are young men and women now, and you have four kids, right? Did you want to talk
Yes,
about all about
yes.
them, their ages, anything?
Well,
Share?
Jalil, I had Jalil at the age of 16. 7 days later, I turned 17. And now Jalil's 29 and he's a school teacher.
That's
And
awesome.
he studies with special ed students, you know. Jalil was the type of young man that he goes to church with you or without you.
Love that.
So that's a blessing in itself. Jalil has so many talents from not just the education, but the God-given voice that has given he been blessed with that come from his, from the man above, but been blessed to have a grandmother, grandparents on both ends, one that loves to sing and one that loved to go to church, and they took him in, you know, and for him to see that. Then we have Kiera, 24, a young lady. She's about to make me a grandfather, you
Oh,
know.
congratulations.
Yes, yes. She's into loving children. She loved children. She always wanted her own daycare. Before she wanted her own daycare, she was always into pets and wanted to go to veterinarian school. So, she studied a lot with that and being hands-on with animals, especially dogs. And now she's in school back and forth, just making sure that she get her degree while pregnant, doing online courses, so that she can, move forward with her life. And she has a beautiful boyfriend in her life, and they both love animals. So it's just a great combination, man. So I was blessed with, you know, uh, my first daughter, and she's a graduate and not completely out of college, but in college, you know,
Right.
while carrying my first grandchild. Then we got Kaya, Miss 21. Oh man, I call her my superstar. She's into so many activities out of Atlanta Clark down in Atlanta.
Hmm.
Man, which is my world, my everything, man. It's just like the fruit don't fall far from the tree when it comes to her hustles, her motivation, her drive. She's very well driven. Man, she used everything that she got that God has given her, you know, not just from her smarts, but also with her figure. And she carries herself very well, and she has a clothing line coming out called Rainy Rich. And then she also does a bikini line called Takini.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. And then we have my Mr. 16, Sahai. And man, just a bright young man, you know, uh, just love activities from football, basketball. Now he's into his hip hop, and into drawing. He loved drawing. And he's just being a young man, just being a teenager, finding his way and liking girls. And but he's a cool kid, and I'm just I'm blessed to be hands on and to able to witness and to see this, from the time they came out of their mama's womb, you know what I mean, to where they are now.
It's interesting because as I listen to you talk about each child or young adult in their cases, you know so much about each one, their interests, what makes them tick, what they're into. And yet at the same time, you were really young when you became a parent, right?
Yeah, yes, yes,
So
yes.
tell us a little bit about that journey. Like what I know about you, and clearly, is that being a parent is one of the things that you treasure above all. And so, I know your children mean a lot to you. But tell us what that was like for you to kind of move into that responsibility at a young age.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. Me being raised in two households, having a mother and a father, thank God, and seeing in one household with a lot of children and depression, but still able to get up and take care of the responsibilities and make sure they get out the house, make sure they got a food on the table, morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It wasn't easy. And then to go into another household where it's very family oriented and family gathering and very big on family reunion and family helping one another. I seen so much going into these two homes back and forth, and two parents that weren't together but got along for the sake of the children.
Mm,
They had their verbal arguments or misunderstandings, but they got resolved, not through courts. They got resolved by them compromising, working together,
mm,
and disciplining one another. So it showed me that, uh, even though the mom and pop not together and they don't see eye to eye any longer, but they damn sure know how to raise some children and
mhm,
make sure, that they do the best they can together, you know, and maybe their rules were maybe different, but at the end of the day, you followed them, you respected them, and that's where I got it from. That's where I got it from, and I just took in perspective from my generation, and I just put a little twist to it, because of everybody's generation on raising children were different. There was different. So now when it was my turn, I did it the same exact way, but at the end of the day, I had to do it in the 1990s, you know, way, and it just fell in order, man. Having the kids' mothers with understandings when things didn't uh, go in the right direction for us, and we departed, it was bitter and sweet, but at the end of the day, in the beginning, it was bitter, due to being a young man, being an asshole, making mistakes, and being forgiven, but no longer can be together. And
mm,
for us to still work it out and still raise the children, for them to grow up to see both parents doing activities together, from amusement parks, from going to beaches, from going to functions, participating in the kids' activities together, meeting them there, financially putting up your half because you didn't bring these children in alone. You brought them in with someone. So you split the bill. You split the bill, and you just handle your business. And when things wasn't, uh, say if I fall short on my end, it was saying, "Well, I want it by Monday, sucker, because you short me $20." You know what I mean?
some things never change, Wood.
Yeah. I was on a payment plan, but they got it, you
Oh.
know. So it's more like, and just giving a young father at that time a heads up on what needs to be done. And then once that it comes repeatedly, you should know automatically, oh, it's Thursday. I got to get ready for Friday. I get the kids this week and it's my week. Oh man, I got to make sure I take care of this daycare and I owe her 20, you know, and this being hands on, man, just stopping by the schools unexpectedly, when you had downtime or if you didn't work, on a Tuesday or that Wednesday, 5 day work week, you get one day off in the middle of the week, and so you probably work, you got time to. before you go to the gym or whatever you was going to do on your day off on that weekday. You take initiative without the parent telling you. Just stop by the school and just poke your head in there. Your daddy. I mean, it's okay. So little things like that became a plus. And also eased up from mommies because you mothers don't play when it comes to your children.
That's right.
So it's
That's right.
beautiful, man. It's a blessing. It's the little things that count that go a long way when it comes to parenting. And it takes a little ease off with the mothers because you guys are 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You know, and sometimes you ladies lose yourselves because you're so wrapped up into the children. You know, so
I know nothing about that.
yeah, right. Yeah, you're a mother too, and I know. So I already know. And your hands on 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Oh,
It's
don't
so
remind me. Don't remind me. I
and
love
now that
it.
it's
I love
COVID, they
every
home.
minute. It's funny. You said something that really struck me, and I hadn't thought about this, but one of the things, my parents were divorced. They divorced when I was in the fourth grade. And I also am recently divorced. I got divorced last year.
Mm,
And it's funny because my parents were unique in the fact that they they kind of, wrestled a little bit with the divorce, like maybe the first couple of years, but
right,
they were
right,
the best of friends. Like they showed up at events together, they were at things
right,
in high school and college, like holding hands and pictures and all that stuff. And my friends would be like, I thought your parents were divorced. And some people are
right,
like,
right,
oh, your parents are so cute. I'm like, they're not together.
right, right.
But as you were saying that, and you were just talking about the picture that you painted of you and your children's moms, like there's this like your commitment to stay connected with them in honoring of raising a child. I
Hmm.
gotta imagine that comes with some tough lessons. Is there anything
Oh,
that you think our listeners could learn from that?
yes, yes. Learn how to put your feelings aside when you're the one at fault. Learn the fact that you made the mistake, so it's only right for her to handle her handle and leave your ass. Excuse my French, and go on and life goes on. You can't continue to mistreat somebody and eventually they're gonna get sick of it. Some people stay for the children and some people say, we're not gonna deal with it. And you have to learn from your mistakes because not that life isn't just perfect. You were the fault. You were the problem. You were the issue. And until you know how to resolve that issue, I'm gonna be over here. I'm gonna be over here. And you have to learn and respect the fact that she's a beautiful woman, just like you was a handsome man. Somebody gonna be attracted to your baby mother. Somebody gonna be attracted to your baby father. So you can't get upset when you guys are no longer together and she finds somebody that's not she's just attracted to, but they have a chemistry and they want to go on and move on with their lives. And this is the time you're just not included, but you are included when it comes to your children.
Mm,
You are very well respected when it comes to your children. So we have to draw a line to where allowing her and also the male to go on with their lives, but don't indulge, no, indulge and encourage and love and respect the fact that when we are together, it's on behalf of our children.
mm,
We are, you know what I'm saying? Because the children need to see that mommy and daddy can still get along, even though mommy has a friend, even though daddy has a friend, until they make that relationship or move on into marriage whatsoever. You guys still have to work together. You have children
yeah,
to raise. These are your responsibilities. These are not his. These are not hers. These are ours.
yeah. I love that. It's interesting. See, for the listeners, I told them that you have a lot of layers, and one of them just
Uh,
came out, right? You talked about you very clearly talked about being the person, right, responsible, like making mistakes. I heard the ownership from you.
yeah.
Was it a journey for you to get to that place where you could look back at those relationships and own your piece of it, own what you did, whatever may have
Yes.
caused the situations? Tell
Yes,
us about it.
yes. You have to own it because you the one did it. You're young. I had my children young. And at the time, I'm still ripping and running in nightclubs to a point where I become the entertainer, to the point because I become the manager of the club, to a point because I become owner of the club. And I'm a young man. And you got liquor involved. You have marijuana involved. You have a good time. You got a lot of tight jeans and, beautiful black women with fat asses and perky chests. And they got beautiful smiles and and they like you and you like them, you know, and you get caught up into the alcohol and into the good music and you're dancing and you're rubbing on one another and they say, I don't give up. I just need you for one night. And you say, well, I need you too, you know. But then after that, here come the phone calls. And now instead of removing yourself from the situation, you continue to activate what you know is dead ass wrong because now you're starting to see each other through lust,
Mm,
through enjoyment of each other, through them smiles, through the figure, the body figure, the way they look and the way you look. And now you guys are attracted and you know it ain't right. So now here you are, instead of coming home like you used to, you're making excuses when they already respected the fact that you into that type of lifestyle of running a
mm,
business of entertainment. You into that lifestyle of being out in the club because you met your girlfriend in that club, your baby mother in that club. It's just she slowed down because she was more mature. She got pregnant and she wanted to raise a family. And you was with it and you agreed, but you still outside indulging into the
mm,
outside life of having a good time as a young man or a young woman. So when you fall weak and you start making excuses because you like somebody else, now you're oversleeping. That's when that word comes, and that saying comes, don't let the sun beat your ass home.
mm, mm,
And you end up doing what? Letting the sun beat your ass home.
mm.
So when enough is enough, you have to accept the fact, like, you keep screwing up. It ain't me. Back in the day, we didn't have before. Well, we had cell phones, but before the cell phones came out, we had the beepers.
Oh my
You
gosh,
know.
don't date us like that. Like, I don't want to
Yeah,
know
hey,
the time before cell phones. I was two. I don't know how old you were.
hey.
I know you were
Yeah,
way older than I
whatever.
am.
So, back in 94, 95, 96, 92,
Oh,
91,
beepers. Oh my gosh. Some of our
yeah, you
listeners don't
had the
even know what that
beepers.
is.
You're right. You had the beepers, so now you're making excuses. I couldn't get to a payphone in time, and or you're just making excuses after excuses until it catches up on you. Then it say, well, who is this? Because they beeping you like you belong somewhere. So when you catch yourself overbearing yourself that you cannot try to juggle a whole family and a situationship that you put yourself into, eventually it's going to catch up to you.
Hmm.
So you have to have ownership to it.
Mhm.
Even with women, women make mistakes too due to the fact of they so suffocated in the household that the husband or the boyfriend forgot to say that I not that I love you, but how good she looks. So when she hear it somewhere else, and all she get home is, where's dinner? Put the kids to sleep. No, I'm doing
Mhm.
this, I'm doing that.
I bet you
No
say.
activities. You know what happens? Soon as she go out with her girlfriends and somebody see how attractive she is, they remind her how beautiful she is.
Mhm.
Sometimes she falls short, and when she falls short, it start messing up what the home.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just aim at the men. Women fall short themselves.
Mhm.
So where you have a good man and he apologized to you, or nothing happened, he didn't do it. You did it. But it was the things that were happening in the household that sometimes we get so overwhelmed by trying to be perfect, taking care of the responsibilities, we think that's enough. No. What happened to tell her how beautiful she was? What happened to tell her how much you love her? What happened to telling her, that you're thinking about her just because, you know? So sometimes we forget about these things and we do them in the beginning of our relationship. And then as the years go on, sometimes we forget that the littlest things that count, they keep that smile in our union to where we start seeking it elsewhere.
I love that. I love all of what you just shared, and the question I have for you. There's a question here around like how do you forgive, but I'm going to come back to that in a second because I want to stay where you were at the end of that. One of the things that we didn't talk about when we introduced you is that you were named Mr. Romance by
Hey,
Oxygen Network.
hey.
And so, as you were talking about that at the end, about, um, a woman being reminded by someone other than her partner or significant other that she's beautiful and things like that, I gotta imagine that some of that is how you got to that title. Um, tell us a little bit about, tell us a little bit, give the listeners a little bit of Mr. Romance advice. I mean, clearly you started down that path, but seriously, tell us a little bit about what makes you Mr. Romance.
Well, how I got into being Mr. Romance on Oxygen Network was I got the acting bug, and I was at the age of, I think, man, I won that in 2003, 2004. So, I think I was like 30, 32, 31. And man, I got into the acting bug and reality TV just starting to come into play. And me and my son, I went to acting school in West Barron, New York City, West Barron Acting School. And I took up a few classes on the weekends and on a Thursday night and Saturday. And next thing you know, I started submitting my headshots, my little resume, which was nothing on it. And started getting opportunities with the phone calls that coming for auditions. And just so happened, Oxygen Network was doing what they didn't never say was a reality show on taking, I think, 8 men into the house and see who was asking us questions on romance, love, lust, chivalry, et cetera, et cetera. And I got the call back, and I took my son with me, and we was coming back on Penn Station, and on the path. As soon as we pulled in the Nook, the phone rang and asked me, "Can I come back?" And me and my
Wow.
son just got on the path, and we got on a path and switched back over. And I went back to New York City, and that was history. I ended up being on having a 13 cover contract on Harlequin romance book novels, which is an extension for the Kimani line off of Harlequin romance book novels, which sell a book every 4.6 seconds around the world.
Amazing.
And it was three brothers, and it was five white boys. And man, it was a great challenge. It was a great experience. And they just wanted you to be who you were, just being yourself. And me just having the respect for women and knowing how to carry myself, I just was being myself. And I ended up winning the whole shebang. And it put me in a position for the nationals of the world to see who Randy Ritchwood was, Mr. Romance. And then it, allowed me to be on 13 book covers, which I'm still working them out to this day, and do a lot of cruises and do a lot of book signings and be around so many beautiful people, different ethnicities, and learning on just love and different experiences and what people go through, ups and downs, from lust to lies to feeling good about each other and just comparing one another, being compatible. And those that did umpteen years, those that did forever, those that either seen their husband or their wife die, and and have a story just like mine, starting at a young age, falling in love at a young age, and some made it and some didn't. So just having an open ear and listening, it put me in a perspective and it put me in a position to where, like, wow, is this my calling? You know, and it was just a beautiful ride, and it still continues to be a beautiful ride. To do book covers, to do a romance film independently, uh, and just man, it just gave me just opened up another world and I just been enjoying it. So that's how Mr. Romance came into play.
That's awesome. I was a voracious reader growing up, and I felt like every Harlequin romance novel. I do not remember seeing you on any of those covers, but you were probably 12 or something at that point.
Yes.
So I was. So if I was 12, you were
Okay.
12 because we were
I
about the
was
same
12
age,
too.
right?
That's right. That's right.
So you talked about complimenting women, you talked about respect for women, but there's got to be something else. What else is there that what do you do to create that kind of engagement and connection with people? Because I think there is something very charismatic about you. Actually, I would say you've got like a pretty big and bold personality, but you've shared a lot of like that softer side of you with us. So how do you balance that? How do you balance that? What do you do? How do you connect with
Honesty.
people? Yeah.
Honesty. You got to be raw. Nobody ain't got time to be sugarcoating shit. Excuse my French, but I'll be honest with you. You have to be raw. If you go around corners, they can sense it. Sometimes you get a lot of men say, "I didn't want to tell a man because I didn't want to hurt her heart." So they did it another way. They just ain't say nothing and just left. No, I'm gonna tell you your problem. I'm gonna tell you what's going on. I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna pay attention to you, and I'm gonna let you know that. Excuse my French, but it's being honest. Your shit stink too. And if you don't, they're not going to be able to fix it because so many people are telling them how beautiful they are. So many people are trying to kiss ass just so that they can penetrate or be up under that person that they say, I just accept it. But you're coming over here to me and you're venting and you're upset and saying what she don't do. Well, when are you going to man up and stick your chest out and tell her? I think she would get more moist and become more satisfying because she knew what she does wasn't doing. She knew what she wasn't handling. But finally, that you stuck your chest out and been a man enough to say, "Yo, look, you gotta tighten this up because if you don't, it's starting to aim me in another direction." You're giving her a fair warning. You're telling her, and even if you don't have to threaten her that you're looking elsewhere or somebody's showing interest elsewhere. No, you can just let her know because you care and you don't want to go nowhere. You want to stay put. You like what you guys' situation is. But at the end of the day, if you don't speak on it, she's not going to resolve it because she think you're okay with it when inside you're not because you're afraid that she's going to go somewhere or leave you. Well, guess what? If it's meant to be, it will be. If it's not, then sayonara. Because I'm not going to sit in a pot of misery. You're gonna respect me just like I respect you. You said you're gonna do these things when you was doing these things when we were together for months, for years. Whatever curved it to make you this comfortable a point to where you feel like whatever. Well,
Mm,
you gotta nip it in the butt. It ain't gonna be no whatever because you got me adjusted. You got me used to you doing these things or being this type of person. Now, that's nothing wrong with transitioning, but transition for the better, not for the
mm,
worse. There's nothing wrong when you drop the ball because everything is not going to be perfect, just for him, just like for her. But at the end of the day, if you remind one another what you missed or what's going on, it's called participating now.
mm,
You have to participate. Maybe she got picked up an extra few hours on a job. Maybe you picked up a few extra hours on a job. Maybe she's tired because she was from work. She had to pick the kids up and take them out to track or to basketball or to football or to tumbling or whatever or to karate. And now she's tired. When are you going to participate and say, you know what, man? Let me wash your ass for you, baby. But tomorrow, can I get some of your attention because the baby don't have, a class. She don't have a program. And what I mean by wash your ass, I mean, massage your feet. Let me cook. Let me, I'm not the best, or let me order something. Let me massage your feet when you come home, man, because I got home earlier before you did, or vice versa. You know you have a working man. And today his back hurt. I know he was talking slick before you left out the house, or he said he promised you was gonna do something. Well, you gotta work with him. He can't be the porn star tonight. He can give you a little something, but he on the weekend when he full of energy, take what's yours. Take what's yours. And what I mean by that, you're gonna do this today because I'm getting frustrated. I warned you and I told you. You feel good today. I massaged your back. I made sure you was good. And now it's Saturday. You ain't going nowhere until you satisfy your queen. You're not going nowhere until you satisfy your king because why? We're in this together. I talk about it. I spoke about it. You said okay. And you know what I mean? Throughout the week, we raising our children or we're going through responsibilities. But damn it, we need time for us. So I can go ahead and scream and shout and release this tension on both ends. And we can go ahead and be happy because it's all about keeping each other happy. It ain't cannot be one-sided.
Hmm.
Can't be one-sided.
I feel like you are like a relationship expert. Is
I'm
that
not
what
an
we should
expert. I just
expect?
talk from experience.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, is that what we should expect from you in the future? That
No,
that you're
no, no,
helping
because
coach
I'm not taking up
people?
no. No, no. You ask me, I'm gonna voice my opinion.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I don't. I'm a jack of a lot of trades, but I'm a master at none.
I don't know if that's true. I
I'm a
don't know if
jack of a
that's
lot of trades, but I'm a master at none. You know.
so.
Well,
So I can't convince you to be a relationship coach, but I do think
nah.
that you try to help people with relationships through your books. Tell the
Yes.
audience a little bit about your writing.
Um. I wrote a book, One Man and Too Many Sheets, and it's a little twist to it. You know. Um. I wrote the book just from my experiences, and then also I added some extra into it to keep the spice going. So, good fiction, great read, and it just talks about young adults that started from college, and then they moved on with their lives, and how things got entangled, due to finances, and somebody was making more than the other one right now because they were still in school and they was waiting on that day to come that what they went to school for. Um, came through finally in their career, and with a
Mm,
job. But at the end of the day, they was doing it together, and he was a smart young man. She was a smart woman, but somebody went outside and started indulging in outside activities and didn't
mm,
know how to make that U-turn because in the beginning it was all about them two. And then when they started hanging out with friends and doing things that they're not usually doing, they got into it and started liking it. But then also it started bringing down a family. It started bringing down a relationship, and things got ugly and turned out, from bad to good and from good to bad,
mm.
to a point to where, they both, you got to get the book, One Man and Too Many Sheets. And I also wrote a book called The Lifestyle of a Male Exotic Dancer.
Mm,
And it was showing, from my experience, coming right out of high school, confused, uh, had it, had my son, and didn't, coming from the street of negativity, and was trying to clean my life up before I go to prison. And a good friend of mine, man, that I went to school with was like the number one stunner when it came to male entertainment, putting smile on lady faces. And that guy named John Murder, aka Paradise at the time, was the
mm,
best dancer in Jersey. And he saved my life because I was a street and I didn't know how to dance. I do some house music, but I didn't know how to do them what he was doing, coming out the Luther Vandross and nice outfits and spinning and flipping and knowing the beats and all that from house music. Oh man, you used to know how to love me right. Work that motherfucker. Work that motherfucker. Hey, work that. You know what I'm saying? And all I was good with nod in my head. You know what I mean? So him showing me the ropes, man, uh, put me in that lifestyle. And I realized in that lifestyle, it came with nothing with positivity, be honest with you. It was young men out there putting smile on young women faces that was coming from college, coming out of school, going to work, and having a good time on Thursday nights, and getting home safe, you know, and just young men in college or coming out of high school or trying to get their degrees and their masters and et cetera, or having children at a young age before, they didn't have nothing to lean on besides, working at a fast food joint or taking up a trade. But when you're young, you ain't thinking like that. You still want to live under mama roof and still have a little pocket money and still think,
Hmm.
your little $20 is gonna last all week and it's only good for that Thursday night and you broke again. But there's a will, there's a way. Um, it showed me that man, it was safe, it was fun, it put a smile on people's faces, and it kept a lot of young men out of trouble. And what young man wouldn't like beautiful women, what I mean, if he only had to do abs and do some push-ups, and they're gonna put a lot of dollars in his G string. you know,
Wow.
yes. So, and it was better than selling crack cocaine on the corner. It was better than trying to be in a gang. It was better than doing something negative in the street, when you come from the inner city, and you come up from a hard knock life, from not having much to having something, and then a lot of positive, beautiful, black, energetic women in there, and that were willing to help you become somebody, you know,
Mm.
besides having fun at the same time, you know.
I'm
so,
sure it sounds like you had a lot of fun.
oh man, did I? Oh, and
That's
I
good
wouldn't
for
change it
you.
for the world. Yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. So,
That's
I
good.
ran that life. I ran that lifestyle for over 10 years until I became the owner of it and created a business out of it.
That's
So
great.
yeah,
That's
thank you,
fantastic.
man.
It's fantastic.
You got to check that book out too. Lifestyle of a Mellows Out of Dancer, written by Randy Ritchwood.
Yeah, very much so. So, listeners, you've got two more books to add to your list.
Hey, yeah, I'm in the process
So,
of right now of writing a book.
oh,
We just
really? Tell us
yes, we
about
just
that.
trying. Well, it's just in the process of getting a title together, and it's called man, what I created it was how to raise a child as a young adult and how to compromise. So how to compromise while raising a child as a young adult. How to compromise while raising a child as a young adult. You know, so I want to show the young men and the young women that you guys can make it happen. Even if you guys decide to go each other's way, but you guys got to learn how to compromise while raising this child. As a young adult. You know, so just speaking from experience. That's all.
Yeah, and I feel like what you shared earlier, just about parenting, just demonstrates that there's a lot of wisdom and experiences there to share. So I think that will be a great read once it comes out. We'll be looking for it later this year.
Yeah, yo, you already know it. Dealing with
Okay.
this COVID-19, I had some downtime, so I've been very, very aggressive, into writing and getting it out. And I like having a downtime because it allows me to just open up and have some peace to myself, and just let it all out. And all I'm doing is speaking from experience from when I started with my young adult years. I fell in love with my son mother at 12 years old,
Mhm.
and 4 years later we had a child, and then we still have forever together, still seeing this young man blossom, and we separated. And when I separated at the age of 18, because I got into another lifestyle, which she didn't approve of, or she wasn't even with nowhere. And I understood. But at the end of the day, the transition in life, you know, for me to go my way and for her to go her way. And we both end up being great parents. And uh, man, same job she been on for over going on 30 years now. You know what I
That's
mean?
awesome.
Into the nursing field, yes.
That's
And
great.
she also is for the board of education. You know what I mean? Does security. And man, yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. That's
Yeah, I used
awesome.
to be a home health aide. I used to
I
wipe the
told
old
you
man
all.
ass.
I told you. You heard it here first. The man in motion has lots and lots of layers. There
I
are
remember,
layers and
uh,
layers and layers.
I remember being a home health aide. I went to school for 3 weeks and got my certifications. And man, I was raising our child, man. And I was doing the mail reviews and I was working at the same time. And I fell asleep inside one of my clients. What do they call? I mean, one of my patients that I had to oversee. You know, and he was like, "It's okay, buddy. Relax. It's okay." I fell asleep and I didn't answer that walkie-talkie. Automatic fire.
Oh, I, what I love about your story is clearly there's just a ton of transparency. The things that went well, the things that maybe not as maybe not as designed or how you would hope, but they all kind of form you into who you are today.
That's right.
So,
That's
so
right.
yeah, so clearly it's great that those experiences have kind of built you up to now. I want to go back to what you said earlier, just about, taking ownership and you're owning the things that you've done. Um, Tell us about the healing journey to get there, to be able to just like look at yourself and acknowledge the places where maybe you have fallen short of your expectations or expectations of others. How do you reconcile that, and what do you say to yourself? How do
You
you
got to
help
ask
yourself?
for forgiveness within yourself. You can apologize who you hurt, but then after that, you got to ask for forgiveness within yourself because you know it ain't right. You know, but when karma comes around and you feel that pain that your partner was feeling, then you really say, "Wow, woo," because it's gonna come bite you in the ass. It don't have to be the same exact way. It's just a person just leaving a note and saying, "Sorry, I can't do this anymore." And you thinking everything is perfect, but on the inside for them it wasn't. So you got to learn how to have a forgiving heart and and think and always know that you ain't perfect either.
Mm,
You fall short as we all do. We think one way, but next maybe your partner ain't feeling that way. So when you learn how to not just ask for forgiveness, but also ask for cleanliness for yourself. You got to
mm,
cleanse yourself. Sometimes you get sick of yourself. And when
mm,
you get sick of yourself, you got to say, man, this ain't right. I don't like this person that I'm becoming. I wasn't raised this way. Why am I doing this? But it's not your fault because it's transitioning to where your eyes are being exposed to different lifestyles once that you become of age and you start seeing different things. And sometimes your mind say, well, I always wanted to try it, but I didn't know I was gonna get addicted.
mm,
So now you gotta learn how to pull away for what seems good and you know it ain't good, but it's good for that moment.
mm,
But how much you gonna indulge into it until you come sick of it? You see it ain't good for you, it ain't good for your family, it ain't healthy, you know? You just pulling different souls, man, and you can't even you just everywhere. Everybody want a piece of you because you're
mm,
giving away a piece of you. And if you're a good individual and they love to be entertained, who they gonna contact? If they love and they like being around you, who they gonna call? Who you gonna call? You're gonna call what you enjoy. You want to put yourself surrounded by people what you enjoy and who you enjoy. You got to learn how to say when enough is enough. Once that you become honest within yourself, you'll learn
mm,
how to cut that off. And it's not their fault, it's your fault because you put yourself in them positions.
mm. That's deep. I think this that recognition of what you own in it, because I think a lot of times we spend time thinking about forgiveness and connection to the other person, but it really is about yourself, right? It is owning why you are where you are. It's owning why you feel the way you do, because somebody else can't make you feel. anyway.
No.
You make yourself, you choose to feel that way and
Mm-hmm.
you choose to tolerate the things that you tolerate. That's what I hear you
Mm-hmm.
saying, right?
Yes. You tolerate to what you can tolerate until enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? You said, man, this is not good for me. I can't get shit accomplished. This is not good for me. I can't get nothing done, but I like it. Yeah, but don't you got other responsibilities? And that's why you're dropping the ball because you over here liking this too much. Learn how to, it's like ice cream. You like ice cream, but you can't eat it all. And so let me just take enough out and put the rest in the freezer. Then why are you not doing that with yourself? Why are you that goddamn greedy to where it's gonna mess up everything? And then you got to start back from scratch. He gave you layers in life. He gave you chapters in life. He gave you steps in life. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. But you, one, two, three, five, seven, nine. Wait a minute. What happened to six? What happened to eight? You cannot miss a step. You have to go by the layers and the steps. It takes time. Stop rushing somewhere you do not need to be that you're not built for. You have to, it's like going to school. You learned your ABCs, you learned your one, two, threes, then you went from multiples, and then you went from to the dividends and so forth and so forth and so forth. Levels, levels. You will make mistakes. You ain't gonna win them all. You ain't gonna be a student all the time. It will get that failure or that F coming.
Hmm.
But it should make you go back and say, where did I fucked up at? Where did I fuck up at? You know where you fucked up at because you missed six or you missed eight and you try to get to 10 without going through one through nine.
So this is you saying, if I can bring it back around, that because you said he gives you. So are you talking about source?
Oh
Is that
my
what
man, the
you're
man above.
Okay. All right. I
The
just want
man
to
above.
clarify for the listeners. Like
Yeah,
you're like, where
yeah.
do I find the man in motion to give me a list of what I'm supposed to do so I
Oh,
can get to where
nah,
he is,
nah,
right?
nah. Nah, God is a good God. You're a believer, and man, you're a witness it yourself, because anything you ask for, he will give it. But at the end of the day, are you prepared for it?
Yeah.
You have to prepare yourself. And he prepares you. You can ask for something, right? And he won't introduce it to you visually until he feels that okay. Yeah, yeah. He ready. Let me crack the door before I let him know that I hear him. Yeah.
It's it's so funny because I did a Pearls of Proverbs, my YouTube show. I did like a day or two ago, and it was not even like directly connected to the scripture, but that's
Mm-hmm.
what he started to download is that, when you are delayed, you sit in this process and you may be frustrated by it, but what you don't recognize is that the thing that's creating the delay for you is actually a refining process.
Oh
And I
yeah,
talked about
definitely.
relationships, and what I said is like, sometimes, people talk about the one that got away, right? Like there's always like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I wish, it's the one that got away. And the reason they got away is because you weren't ready for it. You weren't prepared. You didn't have all of what you needed in order to really have that relationship, that connection, right?
I agree.
But if you get refined, if you allow him to take you through the process, and when
Mm-hmm.
you care more about being prepared and ready to accept it, that you have what you need to give you and you have the ability to receive, then when the relationship comes, you can really enjoy it. You don't have to worry about it being the one that got away, right? Because you have it. But we live in such a microwave generation that people
Mm.
want things and they want it now. So
Now
fear
let me tell you
drives them.
about the one that got away. No, he didn't. He didn't get it. He had a journey of his own to go explore. Now, when they come back, is he ready? Are you ready for him? You had a responsibility in a journey that you needed to go to the left and why he went to the right. He didn't get away. He got a responsibility. His spirit led him elsewhere. Your spirit led you elsewhere. Now, if you guys come back together, you got a story to tell. You got something to share. Besides just how beautiful she is, besides just how handsome he is, besides how lustful you guys are together and loving and chivalry and happiness and good entertaining. No, you got now you have a conversation. Now you have something maybe that you can gravitate to because you say, "Oh yeah, that's what happened." Man, let me tell you something. You got a story to share now. You guys can sit down. Besides having lust, you can have some coffee, have some tea, have a couple drinks, or whatever you do. You guys can build and say, "Well, when I was over here, this happened and that happened," and you guys share. You share stories. It maybe be way better than what it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. He didn't get away. He had somewhere that he needed to be. You had somewhere where you needed to be. If it's meant to be, it will be. We can't cry over spilled milk. We got to wipe it up and move on. That person wasn't ready for you. That's all. At that moment, at that time. But if it's meant to be, you guys will eventually come back together. That's it. We sometimes we make things more difficult than what they are. And it's so simple. It's so simple. But you got to get in tune within yourself to see how simple it is. You know what you're going to accept. You know what you're not going to accept. You know what you like and you know what you don't like. It's your choice to accept it or not.
I
And
don't
if
know
you
why I feel like I'm the host of the show and I feel like right now I'm sitting on your couch and you're like I feel like I should send you a check for like my weekly therapy right now.
no, no,
You're
no.
like
I'm on your show. This is the Anika Applewhite show. Come
I'm
on.
like,
Let's
hold on, give me
go.
the microphone back. Wait a minute. Isn't this my show, The Remarkable
No,
Order?
this is
Hold
your
on a second.
show. Huh? I'm
Oh my
with you today.
goodness.
I'm
It's
with you
this
this
is so
evening.
good. So good.
Uh,
I could just talk to you about this stuff for hours. This is amazing. Couple things before we wrap. So I have a big question for you because you have been so just open and direct and clear about your journey and lessons learned and things like that. And there's just such a spirit of boldness. What are you afraid of?
I don't think I'm afraid of anything. I'm just overprotective right now. I don't think I'm afraid of anything. God has given me a vision for me to go, and He just said, "You don't need no more interruptions." But interruptions will come. Are you strong enough to say, "No, I can't accept this life that you would love to share with me right now"? Are you afraid to let them go? Or are you going to just say, "Well, I accept it because I don't want her to go nowhere"? I had to come in tune with Randy, with Wood, so Wood can get himself in order. And I couldn't accept what other people had to offer, even if it was good. But I wasn't prepared for what they wanted to give me because they seen something different in me that they like, that they love, that they would love to embrace. I can't give you me right now. I have to work on me. I don't have a fear. I have a responsibility. And when we learn that you have to take on your responsibility first, and if a person really love you and care for you, they'll respect you. Because sometimes people become so selfish that they take you and they build a world around you for them to become complete, and you're not complete. They're
Wow.
complete
Wow.
because they have you.
Deep.
They're complete because they have you, but you're not complete. I can't be complete for you when I'm not complete for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can enjoy me like I enjoy you because our chemistry is so fire, but I can't commit to something I know I can't afford. I got to get me in order You understand what I'm saying? Not just to satisfy you, but also myself. Because
Wow.
you're happy with me. And I'm happy with you. But I'm not completely happy with me. And you're never gonna be complete. But at least allow me to be at peace within my heart, my body, and my soul.
Mm.
If I ain't at peace with that guy, then I can't make you happy. I'm gonna always be bitter. I'm gonna always be angry. I'm gonna always be upset. I'm always gonna be bothered. When you do things that you love, Anika, and a person allow you to breathe to do it, do you know that your energy will go 100% more to be with them and surrounded by them because they were like your fucking cheerleader and they say, handle it. I'm just making sure you're okay. It make you want to call them and make you want to get home to them and make you want to indulge with them and make you want to share with them because they're not trying to pull you away where your direction need to be.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They say when you find the time, get at me. I'm just checking at you. That's the most beautiful thing that a person can say when you trying to get you in order. It's like rehab. How you gonna throw me? I'm in a rehab. Why are you trying to pull me out? I'm not ready. But to them, you're ready. I'm not ready. I'm still sick. I'm
Mm.
still have an issue. I still have an addiction. Let me clean this shit up because I will be no good for you. Mister, I will be no good for you. Yes, thank you for calling me a beautiful woman. Thank you for letting me feel loving and you call me all these types of beautiful names. Thank you, but I still feel like shit inside because I fucked up.
Mm.
I'm still indulging in some bullshit that a man would not accept. I can't do this. Let me clean this part up because every time I try to get into a commitment or a situation to where I'm falling in love, but I still got an itch over here, and I know I can't afford to scratch it if I commit to you. Let me resolve this scratch, this itch. Let me soothe it. Let me get it off me so that I can give you my undivided attention. Men or women, we got to learn how to say, look, man, I ain't ready right now. I
Mm.
don't care how many times I'm like, yes, you are. No, I'm not. How the fuck are you going to tell me? I'm fucked up.
Something tells me no one could tell you that. I mean, you sound pretty clear to me.
Excuse my French, but that's just honesty. Who? Listen, I'm telling you. He said, well, I don't see nothing wrong with you because you see in the outer shell. You don't
Mm.
see the inside.
Yeah, that's
You
fair.
don't see the inside. I got to clean this up. I would love to be perfect for you, but I can't right now. I got things that I got to get past so that I can even be not just perfect for you, but perfect for myself.
Wow, that's deep.
You know,
Yeah, that's
you got to
great.
learn how to, yeah, you got to learn. It's not about fear, it's about getting it together. But we can't be fearful to walk through these storms. And we have to be honest within ourselves and say, look, man, I would love to, but mm-mm. I don't want to hurt your soul. You have a beautiful soul, man. I ain't trying to hurt it. If you want to enjoy me, we can enjoy each other, but I can't give you 100% right now because I'm not there. If they either going to respect it or they're going to go elsewhere to find what they're looking for.
Mm.
If they respect it, you guys will build a great relationship to maybe come to a relationship to where you be together for eternity. If it don't work that way, you got to know somebody that love you and respect you for who you are. So if you do get a itch or a scratch or somebody else want to show attention and you feel like they deserving of it, it's okay for you to go your separate way because your friendship is stronger than the lust, than the situationship. Nah, y'all got a friendship. Y'all have a bond. Y'all build something. You learned from her. He learned from you. You respected what she wanted. She respected what you wanted because you was honest. Honesty is everything
Mm.
because now they have an option to say, "Will I accept it or not?"
I
So,
agree.
and,
Wholeheartedly
and so
agree.
back to when you were saying, you know, oh, I miss my calling with him, or I miss my calling with. No, you didn't. They had something to do. You had something to do. You ain't miss nothing. You right where you need to be.
Yeah.
Handle it.
Yeah.